Hello guys, welcome to another video. So today we're going to look at NASDAQ. I think it's been over a couple of days since we looked at this one, so we're just gonna go through it and see if we can't get any trade setup. So make sure that you watch until the end. So let's get started. All right, so we're going to start on the monthly chart and just check how is the structure this side or the bigger picture, so that by the time we get to the smaller time frames or we'll be executing, we will have an idea of where the price is most likely to go on a longer run. So this is what we have on monthly. So here on monthly, the bears have been pushing very strongly to the downside, but right now this is the lowest point that they reached, and when they reached this lowest point they went lower than this, which means in terms of the support, the only valid area of support we had at the time is this one when the price moved lower than this. And in terms of the trend line, we do have, let's just mark a proper trend line just so that we can see if we are sort of changing or not, if the bulls are coming back. So this is the trend line, and we can definitely see that the trend line has been broken. So which is why you need to know that as much as the price was bearish pushing to the downside, but the bulls that are found here, they are not to mess with, because of what we can see. They push the price up and broke what? The trend line. But at the same time, the sellers are still here. This is still the sellers, and you can see that last month we ended the month with what? With the bearish pin bar, and we were there at the thing and saying that we cannot say that the bulls have won the battle. Yes, we can see they broke the trend line, but they haven't removed their resistance. We cannot say the bears are completely out because their resistance is still holding. At the same time, we can't say they are the ones that are in control because they failed to defend their trend line. So it's just in between the two, right? For some time now, this is going to take, we're gonna have to give it some time for it to decide whether it wants to continue with the downtrend, meaning it will go and break this lowest point. That, because I'm telling you that the sellers or the buyers that are found here, they are very strong. They managed to push up and break the trend line. So we'll give it a chance to see whether the buyers or the sellers are gonna take back the power and do that, or the bulls, what they started here, will continue and break that resistance. So that's why on monthly, I don't think you can have those, you can invest in this for now, because of what? The structure is not yet decided where it wants to go. Because even if the bulls, they broke the trend line, but the fact that the bears did this at their own zone it should show you that they are not ready to give up. They can still push to the downside, but we're not going to predict that. So for now, we just know that the price is reacting from the area of resistance, and we broke the trend line, and we do have a pin bar. So meaning there's a chance of us going to the downside, unless if the buyers go above the bearish trend line. If they do that, they are going to invalidate this, then they'll have a chance of taking out the resistance as well. So let's check what we have on weekly. All right, so this is the structure that we have on weekly, and we can definitely see that the very same downtrend that we had there on weekly, on monthly, we also had it here for some time, right? But unfortunately, the price, it did the same thing that we saw that side. It broke this trend line, and it also went, just to confirm, I think it did go. Yes, it did go. I'm not sure if you can see that it did go over this. It did go over it. So which means there's a resistance that we broke, and there's a bearish trend line that we took out, which means the bulls here on this time frame are very aggressive. They are very much in control, right? Because we can see that the bears were pushing down, pushing down, pushing down. But the moment they give us this, because remember, when you're bearish, you just need to give us lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. The moment you fail to give us a new low, that's the sign of you being weak. If you are the one that has been, being so much in control, all of a sudden you fail to continue with that, that's where we see that you are becoming weak. And we can see then the price moved up, and it took out the trend line, and it also took out the resistance. So currently here we are going to the upside, but we cannot have we don't have a space to place what? Our bullish trend line. But we also need to keep in mind that this is that monthly resistance. We need to keep in mind that around there we are touching the monthly resistance. So we're still gonna say, even if you are uptrending, but to break that won't be easy, which means you always need to be careful with those trades that you're holding to the upside, especially if you're planning on holding them onto them for some time. You always need to make sure that you're very strict with how you manage your stop loss and stuff like that. So now that this is a weekly chart and the week is ending tomorrow, this will be a decider. Should this candlestick close like this, we will end up with what we call a bullish engulfing, which means that's where you can see that the bulls are very aggressive, which is the same thing that I said. Should the price do this and break that, there on monthly, that pin bar will be above it, which means the bulls would have invalidated the pin bar, you see. So if we're getting this engulfing and that we invalidate the pin bar, I said the price would have a chance, a very high chance of taking out the resistance as well. So for now, this will be a decider to see if we can still push some more and be able to put a trend line there. We'll see that most probably next week. So now let's check what we have on daily. On daily, we've been bullish for a very long time. We were bullish, having a bullish trend line there, and it was removed, area of support removed. Then the price moved to the next area of support, which is this one here, touched it there, and which is this one. I want to make sure that I'm drawing it properly. This is the one that the price failed to penetrate. And now, because it was bearish, we could put a bearish trend line here, which we can see that it's seeing flames now. It's really seeing flames, and area of resistance are taken out. So the bulls here on daily, they are back, right? But they still gonna struggle to go over what? Remember the pin bar there on monthly ends there. So they're still gonna struggle to break that. So if we want to mark the nearest zones here on this time frame, we will just have to bring this and say that our support is here, our daily support, and our daily resistance is here. So basically, this is where, if you're taking your trades, these are the structures that you need to be careful of, because you can be holding a buy trade, the price could be bullish, but it does not mean that the price will be bullish forever. It does not mean that the price, if it is bullish, is going to demolish everything along the way. No, when it hits those structures, you need to be careful, because of what? It can still react and go to the downside. The same way we saw that the more reason why we need to be careful is the fact that on monthly we had that bearish pin bar, because remember, just because the current candlestick looks like this on monthly does not mean anything, because of what? The month is still far from over. So this candlestick can still change direction and come and close like that to the downside. So that's why you need to be careful when you're talking about a candlestick that is still open. So for now, I would say keep your eyes on this, because this is the very same zone that pushed the price down and moved it lower than this, right? So you need to be careful. And also the trend line that we had there, it is the one that broke it. So you need to be very, very careful when the price touches there. I do understand that here on this time frame we are moving to the upside, but you need to be very, very, very careful when the price gets to this, because of what? It can even move to the downside and retest before continuing, but still taking out the high of that pin bar on monthly is still gonna be a challenge. So when it comes to this, if it comes back, let's say it reacts there and then it comes back, if it gets to this zone, you'll know that this support is the one that did what? Is the one that pushed the price up, broke the trend line, broke the areas of what? Of resistance. So it will also be a challenge for you to break that, which is why you need to understand where the key structures are, or where the zones or the sensitive areas are, because that's where the price is gonna struggle to pass. So you need to make sure that if you've got those trades, you can use those zones to place your TPs. So let's check H4. So this is what we have on H4, which is also bullish, because the last time we were bearish, the bearish trend line was somewhere there and we broke it. Trying to show you here. Let's remove this, right? Okay, so the last bearish trend line we had was actually here. Had it somewhere there, and the price from this, it pushed up and it broke the area of resistance and it moved outside the trend line. Now that zone became what? Significant, and the price came back to it and it continued like that. And now we can say we are still very much bullish, and the trend line was here, It just missed it by a few pips there, but it formed a pin bar and continued. Remember, a bullish pin bar, it's a sign that the bulls are becoming aggressive. And when you're forming a bullish pin bar and you break the range of that, there's a very high chance that you'll continue until you touch the next opposing structure. So which is why if you may be getting these pin bars at a very sensitive area or a sensitive structure, be it a trend line or whatever that you may have on your chart, you are more than welcome to say, I'm seeing a bullish pin bar, we are at a bullish trend line, maybe let me place a buy stop here. To say that should the price break the range of that Pagati inside, I'm not missing that. So currently we know we are bullish and the bullish trend line is here on H4. And we are approaching that daily area of what? Daily area of resistance, with our H4 resistance being right around that daily area of resistance. So if let's say you know that the pin bar that side is not yet removed, and I told you that this daily zone is very strong, you need to be careful with it. It's just that selling will be very difficult because the trend is going up on daily and on H4, right? So but the fact that you know the location would allow you to maybe search for sell trades. If you don't get any confirmation, you don't have anything. You can say, if you are executing on H4, you can just say, I have my bullish trend, I have my bullish trend line. If the price moves into that zone and start giving me the pin bar in the opposite direction, the location, you know you're getting a bearish pin bar inside a bearish structure, which is a bearish what? Zone, the resistance. Then you can place your what? Sell stop. But without that confirmation, that pin bar there, you cannot pull the trigger. So even if you are taking that sell trade inside there, you still need to understand that this structure is still intact. This trend line is still intact. So when you're taking that sell trade, so because this structure is going to put, it's gonna push against your trade. That's if the price gives you the confirmation inside the zone. Without the confirmation, you're not going to pull the trigger. So because the structure is still intact, it means you need to consider it when you are placing your take profit. But if you are that person that likes to wait for more confirmation, it means you just wait for the price to break this first before you can say the trend line is out of the way. Then I'll maybe try and catch a sell from there. But remember, if we don't get any confirmation, we're not going to sell, because there's also a chance that the price can do that. Because of what? We said this zone, we marked it on daily, and daily is bullish. So because of that, there's a chance that we can just do that. So which is why, because we're trying to trade against the trend, we need to make sure that we get confirmation for that. The price just need to be located nicely, and then we search for confirmation to take our trades. If we don't get any, then it means you're not going to do anything. Just the same way when the price was bearish, you had to wait for the bearish trend to end. The trend line was removed, the resistance was removed, then the price came and tested this, and then it moved up. So you need to make sure that you're very patient, because otherwise you're going to have like premature entries and end up just blowing the account, and then you watch the market move in your favor. Sometimes you just need to be very patient, even if it means maybe you are patient and then the price, you miss the trade. It's fine. It's better that way than you blowing the account, because if you miss a trade, you can always catch it on the next move. Now this is what we have on H1. So H1, we can put a bullish trend line there. Okay, what did I do now? H1, we have a bullish trend, we have a bullish trend line, we have our area of support here. Right? If you're someone that's trading using H1, you'll just wait for the price. The same thing that we're talking about on daily, on H4, it touches that high sensitive area there at the top. You're getting maybe your bearish pin bars there, sell stop. Then you're gonna target this, because these two structures, the support here and the bullish trend line, because remember the trend is still bullish, they are still very intact. So the fact that you're taking that sell, you're just trying to catch an early trade, which is a bit risky, so you're going to target them. Or if you don't want that, you're that other guy, that wants to wait for the structure to be broken first, then you can hope that you'll get a pullback before the price drops. So that's up to you how you want to do that. But for now, as things stand, it's going to be very difficult. Like the bulls, we can see they are very dominant, but we're just saying this zone here is very strong, so it's not going to be easy for them to break it, but they can break it, which is why we know that, which is why we are saying we'll only take their trade there with what? With confirmation, because we are trying to go to the downside. So maybe let's just check. We did H1. So H1, you're just gonna do the same thing. M15, I don't like going, into like lower time frame. So it's gonna be the same thing. Same thing. So the trend line still looks the same. The zone still looks the same. I think I would suggest you use H1. So the goal is to say that with confirmation inside that resistance there, the price has a chance of reacting from there. If it doesn't react and it breaks it, it means now it will open more space to go up. That's where you will do what? You will be able to say that if these structures are removed here, even that monthly pin bar will be taken out, then this will open more space to push all the way up, which is where you can continue what? Searching for buy trade, which means this bullish trend will still continue going all the way up. So, but for now, the nearest obstacle we have on the chart is this one here. So we have our eyes on that one. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.